This is Fansproject Warcry. It's one of the most early examples of third-party making their own figures that exists currently. And this one's really cool. It specifically is a repaint of the munitioner featuring some new parts such as the turret and the two little canisters on the back, but it looks really, really good. And you can see that they really went all out with this packaging. This is something I really miss about old third party is the packaging, and something different is that it actually features artwork. But you can see all the little things that show off the differences between this and their munitioner, and it also has that really cool artwork on the top, which the original munitioner box only had stock photos. But yeah, the Jeep mode on this looks incredible with all the little silver details and the painted hubcaps and windows, and that little turret and canisters on it also make it stand out, especially next to the munitioner, which looked pretty boring and just a pale gray, this one being a nice saturated reddish orange. And it looks fantastic. The two pegs on the front are a little annoying, but they're necessary for the combination, and it happens to roll extremely well. The Jeep mode itself is pretty short. It's one of those things that looks okay in a vacuum, but then when you start putting it next to stuff, you kind of see like, oh, this is weird. What's strange about it is that it's still kind of large. Here it is next to Fansproject's Explorer / Flame Blast, as well as one of the Energon Scouts, which you can see it clearly surpasses in size, which is strange since the robot form is about the same. And here it is next to a couple other things like a modern Combiner Wars Swindle and Power of the Prime's Dreadwind.
Alright, so transformation on this guy is pretty cool. This is also just a pretty cool figure in general because it's kind of like the first third-party fully fledged figure, or at least it's a repaint of it, but you start by parts forming, which the original version doesn't do. It doesn't have the extra molding here, and it doesn't have this piece, the turret piece. It kind of looks like that, except it has a little blaster that goes right there, so... first thing you want to do is just bring these forward and kind of flip them up. Then we're going to flip out the legs. Now this can be a little tricky. There's some tabs right here underneath the doors that do like to get caught, and I recommend kind of grabbing from right here, like just using your whole hand to grab right here and kind of wiggle it free and then start unfurling the legs on their own. It can be a little tricky to do. You kind of just want to make sure they clear everything right here first, and I know that some people recommend to actually shave this tab. I find that twisting the waist lets you free up just enough room to flip these legs out, and it's a very... oh yeah, this is the other part, is that these can kind of get like stuck as you transform them. It's a very normal like transformation. You just flip those out, push in the knees, and then come back here. He has these little heel spurs that just fold down, which are pretty nice. That's a nice little detail. And from there, it's a pretty normal little transformation. You want to grab this rear section and just flip it back. Take the arms and kind of lift up on the roof a little bit, untab them, and then just flip them out. It's the same. So just wiggle them a little bit to get them free. There we go, and flip them out. And then take this whole backpack right here, you can see that's right there, and just collapse it. Come over to the front. There's a little panel on the chest. Whoa, flip it out. Reveal the head. Tabs right in. And there you have... straighten them out, stand them up. Doo-doo-doo. His backpack won't bring him down. Fansproject, Warcry.
So yeah, getting this guy into robot mode, you can see just how well this guy stands and looks. Oh, there's a lot of things about it that is really cool, such as the accessories forming this arm turret and buckler. But there's some other things about it that I'm not a huge fan of, like this backpack that's pretty large and fairly loose and doesn't really do anything except for cause him stability issues. As you can see, it's pretty easy to knock him over. But yeah, just the paint apps on this guy. The white really breaks up the dark orange with the black, and I love the look of the fingerless gloves on this guy. Everything just stands out. I especially love the little Scramble City style cube head with the visor. Like, I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, this guy looks so epic in almost any pose you put him in. He's so photogenic. And there's only one thing I have a problem with, and it's that this canister doesn't really have anywhere to go. You're supposed to be able to tab it onto the arm here, but it doesn't fit. And this is even a tab that looks like it might have been shaved down at some point to fit this on there, but I just can't get it on there. And yeah, the heels don't do a lot for this guy. But he is a awesome looking figure, and he stands very well next to other things, even if he doesn't stand very well on his own. But yeah, you can see just how dynamic you can get this guy looking, and just how good everything looks. He can really take on any pose you want and could think of for a character like this. And right on his back, it holds a little bit of a secret, something that we might unveil in a future video.
Getting into articulation on this guy is fairly easy because he makes it easy. Despite being an almost 15-year-old figure, this thing still poses like it came out maybe 5 years ago. Like, it's still highly posable for what it is, especially for what it's trying to emulate. So bringing him up close, you can see a nice look at that head sculpt right there. Super well detailed. Love the visor, love the head crest, love the still square head on this guy. But just kind of taking a look at him, he has shoulders that go out like this. They are on ball joints, so they can go up and around. He has double jointed elbows with a ball joint on the bottom and a hinge at the top, so it kind of almost eliminates the need for like a wrist or bicep swivel, since you can still get a swivel out of the wrist there. He has a ratcheted waist joint that does go all the way around, and nice solid ratchet there. He has ball jointed hips that come up that far. They go back unimpeded, they go out unimpeded, so lots of range in everything there. And he has full bend at the knee because he that's a transformation joint, but it does lend itself to give him the full knee there. And then he has at the foot, there's a ball joint, I believe, or is it a hinge? It's a hinge that allows it to tilt forward and down just a little bit. And then there's a ball joint right here that gives him a tilt, which for the time back in 2011, that was pretty novel, especially on one of these guys, where it was one of the third party's earlier figures. So overall, really great articulation. Even by today's standards, I'd say this is pretty good. Like for being someone who's about the size of Iguanus, and it took Hasbro till Iguanus to get articulation almost as good as this guy's on a mainline figure. Real quick, I just kind of wanted to bring in Flame Blast, and I pulled one of Monstructor's arms off so you can see this compared next to another third-party combiner figure, and the only other one I had was Monstructor. So here he is with a Bristleback, the Bristleback alike that they did, and you can see just kind of how small these guys really are.
Overall, Warcry is one of those figures that looks fantastic and still holds up from early third party. He especially looks good next to his kind of comparatives that you're able to get from the same company, as well as the Energon stuff of the time. He really stands out on a shelf. I especially think it looks better than the original Munitioner. The only unfortunate part is this guy doesn't come with the Bruticus Combiner accessories. But that doesn't mean he's not good on his own. There's still a lot to enjoy about this guy. So if you're thinking about picking up either the Bruticus or something just to have like a Swindle alike, this might be one. Also, if you're a fan of Micromasters, you might enjoy this guy and Flame Blast, but it still is able to form a leg on the normal Bruticus Maximus mold. So that's been my look at Fansproject Warcry. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Bots Obsession.